Hello again. So before we dig into the statistics that I have linked below this video for you regarding who demographically is homeschooling and why, I just want to hit a couple of points about a dichotomy that I've noticed in the literature between what they call traditional schooling and homeschooling. So the first point is that this dichotomy is a little bit reductionist because there are many different forms of traditional schooling. You might see public school or private school or a charter school with a different method to teaching. So basically, traditional schooling refers to any situation where you are sending your child to a classroom to have a classroom-based experience with many other children. The same is true for homeschooling, where it's not just one monolith that is homeschooling. There are so many different options and different ways of teaching your children that parents can choose from, and they can also band together with other parents. So there's many different experiences of homeschooling, which might make for it's difficult to put homeschoolers in a box, and really we shouldn't be putting people in boxes, right? So I think this is kind of where Doreen Wood's ask comes into play, because everyone's experience is a little bit different. But still, we're going to learn about homeschoolers in general. So there's more structured homeschooling approaches where you might have a stronger curriculum based, and you might sit down as if you were in a classroom with your children and teach them. But you also have relatively unstructured methods that are more experience-based, kind of like teachable moments, but it's not just teachable moments. There's also some structure to make sure that the children are hitting their points that they need to get to the next grade level. The second point is that the dichotomy between traditional schooling and homeschooling is a misnomer, because homeschooling is actually more traditional and reaches further back into history for the vast majority of people than traditional classroom-based schooling does. Thinking back to the way that we learned about education in our World Civ classes or our required history classes in high school and college, we can see that most children were schooled at home by their parents or guardians or one of the family members or the community. And if you could afford to pay a tutor, you would pay a tutor to come in and teach your children at home as well. So for the nobles and the kings and queens. But still, it's in the home, right? So the classroom as we think of it today came about in the 19th century when compulsory schooling for all children rose in Western civilization. And this is when it became popular for everyone to end up in a classroom experience. So we just need to be aware that the schooling of children by their parents and families was the norm for most of history and for the vast majority of people. Although some people did end up going on to college and sitting in lecture formats even into ancient days. So thanks for watching the video, and please note my heads up in the video next for some highlights on our statistics.